Howdy everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Waxing with Wade. I'm doing episode number 46 this week. Last week I did number 45 and did an album 45 years old, and as promised, for this week's episode I'm doing an album 46 years old. From 1978, Warren Zevon, Excitable Boy. Just a coincidence that it's a very red cover like last week's Tom Petty and Damn the Torpedoes. On the back, just a small picture of him and a list of all the songs, some of the credits on the songs. I had a hard time choosing this album. I had several from 1978 to pick from, but this one has always been very special to me, and I'm about to tell you why after I show you the rest of the cover, which the sleeve has the lyrics on one side, and this great shot, which might make a little more sense after we hear a couple of the songs, on the other side. The gun and the plate of veggies. Very California. I see no meat on that plate. Why is this album special to me? Oh, my high school days, and after I was first getting into rock and roll, this album came along, and of course, like everyone else, I loved Werewolves of London, and I still love it. Great song. It's on here. We'll hear some of it. He also had the big hit Lawyers, Guns, and Money on here, and which those are his two biggest charting singles. This is his most successful and most critically acclaimed album. And so a little history about Warren Zevon. His first album was in 1970. He had a career slow to get started. He was a session musician and a singer-songwriter. He finally got to release an album in 1970. It did not do much. It didn't sell that much. No big hits. So he went on the road and he played with the Everly Brothers for a few years, and he was a session musician playing on people's albums. He wrote some songs that went on to be charting hits for other artists, and along the way you will definitely know one of his songs that another artist had a big hit with, Poor Poor Pitiful Me by Linda Ronstadt. Linda recorded several of his songs, many of them, Muhammad's Radio, Carmelita, Accidentally Like a Martyr, Hasten Down the Wind, and anyway, just a great songwriter, Warren Zevon. And he finally had another album in 1976. Again, he did better than the first, but not that great. This is his third studio album, Excitable Boy. Came along in 78 and really was his big success. Critically and all, like I said, and sales-wise, and made him a successful artist. So, what struck me about this album was two songs, and we're going to kick it off with almost all of both those songs because I really can't cut them. They both tell stories. They're like little short films in a song. And one thing that stands out about Warren Zevon, particularly on this album, is his deadpan humor, his dry wit, macabre, acerbic lyrics, macabre at times, and we're going to hear some murder and mayhem here shortly, and ghosts and all kinds of stuff. And these two songs captivated me, and they're not the two biggest hits on this album, though they did get some airplay on their own for sure. But I listened to them over and over. I wore this album out. I still can't get these songs out of my head all week. When I've been thinking about this album and playing it some and doing this episode, I keep getting these songs stuck in my head. So, sit back and listen to this tale, my favorite song on the album, and many people's favorite Warren Zevon song, Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner. I believe that's the name of it. Yeah, Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner. So we're going to get into a little... All right, he also liked to write about geopolitical type things. Think of words like Sandinistas and things like that, like Latin America, Cold War, and mercenaries, so this first song is about mercenaries in Africa, and uses a lot of the lingo, and is just very cool song. Follow the lyrics. You might want to read these lyrics and replay this song after the episode. I highly encourage it. So just say that the protagonist gets violently killed right in the second verse of this song, but he doesn't go away. And so enjoy Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner.
was a warrior from the land of the midnight sun, with a Thompson gun for hire, fighting to be done. The deal was made in Denmark on a dark and stormy day, so he set out for Biafra to join the bloody fray. 66 and 7, they fought the Congo War, with their fingers on their triggers, knee-deep in gore. Days and nights they battled, the Bantu to their knees. They killed to earn their living and to help out the Congolese. Roland the Thompson gunner, Roland the Thompson gunner. His comrades fought beside him, Van Owen and the rest, but of all the Thompson gunners, Roland was the best. So the CIA decided they wanted Roland dead. That son of a bitch Van Owen blew off Roland's
Listen to this verse and the double vocals.
Roland the headless Thompson gunner, Norway's bravest sons of the storm. They can still see his headless body stalking through the night.
Oh, his headless
The
body.
muzzle flash of Roland's Thompson gun. In the muzzle flash of Roland's Thompson gun. Roland searched the continent for the man who done him in. He found him in Mombasa in a ballroom drinking gin. Roland aimed his Thompson gun, he didn't say a word, but he blew Van Owen's body from there to Johannesburg. Roland the headless Thompson gunner, Roland the headless Thompson gunner, Roland the headless Thompson gunner. Talking about the man, Roland the headless Thompson gunner.
Love this last verse.
The eternal Thompson gunner, still wandering through the night. Now it's 10 years later, but it still keeps up the fight. In Ireland, in Lebanon, in Palestine, in Berkeley. Hayhurst, Hamburg, Roland's Thompson gun and body.
Well, I hope I've awakened you to Warren Zevon. Love that last line, out of the blue. Berkeley, then Patty Hearst heard the words of Roland's Thompson gun and bought it. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but of course, for all us old people, we will remember Patty Hearst, and you young people can Google and look up on Wiki, Patty Hearst, Hearst, and see why she was in the news back then, and Warren might be writing about her. That song just gets me, and I think it's funny and serious and all kinds of things, and just the thought of this ghost gunman with a headless, and the way he nonchalantly changes the chorus from Roland the Thompson gunner to Roland the headless Thompson gunner just always tickled me a little bit. Okay, if that song didn't grab you, this one will. Excitable Boy, about a blooming psychopath who is kind of misdiagnosed as just an excitable boy until he rapes and murders somebody. So this is a pretty heavy, very macabre song with a little humor injected. Love it. It's called Excitable Boy, the title cut.
Then he went down to dinner in a Sunday little Susie to the junior prom. Excitable boy, they all said. They raped her and killed her, but he took her home. Excitable boy, they all said. Well, he's just an excitable boy. After 10 long years, they let him out of the home. Excitable boy, they all said. And he dug up the grave and built a cage with her bones. Excitable boy, they all said. Well, he's just an excitable boy.
What a catchy murder song. Yeah, heavy, raped her and killed her, and then he dug up her grave and built a cage with her bones. Okay, we're coming up on Werewolves of London. I'm going to spotlight a few pieces of it. And everyone's probably well familiar with this song. It's a great off-the-wall hit. It was these songs and it were just different for me than a lot of the music coming out at the time. He wrote a different style, tone. I don't know how to describe it, not being a musician, but I do love this record and Warren Zevon, obviously. Werewolves of London, let's talk about the California connection. So Southern California, out of LA, all those musicians from that area, most of them hung around together. They shared session musicians, some of them labels, several of them were on Asylum Records, like the Eagles and Linda Ronstadt and Warren Zevon, and producers, some had mutual producers. They played live, guested for each other, and on each other's albums. So on this album, we have got Jackson Browne producing it and singing background vocals, and Mick Fleetwood and John McVie from Fleetwood Mac actually played bass and drums on Werewolves of London. That's the only song they play on this album. I bet you didn't know that. That's the Fleetwood Mac rhythm section. So, does Linda sing on here? I don't think she does. No, I don't think so. Anyway, in a minute we're going to spotlight guitarist Waddy Wachtel, who is the main guitarist on this album, along with Danny Korchmar, another one of those great musicians that played with Jackson Browne, Don Henley, and others. Waddy Wachtel, you may remember, showed up on my Buckingham Nicks episode. He played guitar with them on that album, Southern California. Okay, here we go. Werewolves of London, the great opening. Great slide guitar lead. Great slide guitar solo by Waddy Wachtel. I think it's lost a little when you hear that song on the radio, but there it was. And then the end of this is so cool. We'll have to hear that.
Well, I saw Lon Chaney walking with a queen, doing the Werewolves of London. I saw Lon Chaney Jr. walking with the queen, doing the Werewolves of London. Trader Vic's. His hair was purple.
Oh man, what a great song. Okay, you may know this other song, possibly by other artists like Linda Ronstadt, but this is a gorgeous song. I'm just going to play a little of it. A little ballad called Accidentally Like a Martyr. Another catchy song, hard to get out of your head.
The phone don't ring, no, and the sun refused to shine. Never thought I'd have to pay so dearly for what was already mine. For such a long, long time, we made mad love, shallow love, random love, and abandoned love. Accidentally, like a martyr. The hurt gets worse and the heart gets harder. We made mad love, shallow love, random love, and abandoned love. Accidentally, like a martyr. The hurt gets worse and the heart gets harder.
All right, man, great song. Let me mention as I flip this, sadly, Warren Zevon died at age 56 from mesothelioma, likely from asbestos exposure. Okay, I'm going to play you just a little bit of this song because it's kind of got a beat that's reminiscent of a song that's going to come along a couple of years later. Think about Another One Bites the Dust as you hear this song that came out 2 years previously called Nighttime at the Switching Yard.
Nighttime in the switching yard. Nighttime in the switching yard. Nighttime in the switching yard. Nighttime in the switching yard. Get it out on the main line. Listen to the rhythm of the train go by. Get it out on the main line. Listen to the rhythm of the train go by. Listen to the train whistle wide. Listen to the train whistle wide. Nighttime in the switching yard.
I think that might have got played at some discos in Alabama, and I could certainly dance to it. Okay, a few other good songs on here for sure. The whole album's good, but I can't play them all. We're going to end it up, let you hear just the first verse of Lawyers, Guns, and Money, because I know you want to hear it. One of his big hits. Here we go.
I went home with the waitress, the way I always do. How was I to know
other one that's kind of like the Roland and Headless Thompson gunner, the mercenaries in Africa, in Latin America, Cuba, I believe, with during the communist rule and the Cold War. Hope you enjoyed getting to know Warren Zevon. Rest his soul, and what a great performer, singer, writer. And please come back next week, and I will have you another episode of Waxing with Wade.